Thank you all for being here. It's a great day for exercising our First Amendment rights to protect our Second Amendment rights. Hoorah! My name is Ray Givens. I'm the legislative representative of the Western Maryland Sportsman's Coalition. That coalition consists of the leadership of the sports groups in Carroll, Frederick, Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties. We have some of those folks here today. Joe Winters representing Washington County, Ike Myers representing Garrett County, Bob Walton representing Frederick County. We citizens of Maryland have been living under a tyrannical governor for way too many years, along with a one-sided House and Senate. Year after year, they pass laws unnecessarily restricting the rights of honest, law-abiding citizens, and doing this in the name of public safety, knowing full well that the real reason to disarm the American citizen opposition to their mission of state and then national socialism. Thank you. We represent the people that enjoy, appreciate, and want to see freedom live forever. We freedom-loving Second Amendment supporters witness this in the form of one legislative season to the next. Last year at this time, we were experiencing what has now become the ultimate culmination of wrong-minded, anti-freedom, and anti-constitutional Maryland elected officials. We have been inundated with unreasonable taxes, fees, laws that favor one group of citizens over the others. Groups like liberal socialists over patriots, leniency on criminals over real, honest, law-abiding citizens. The Second Amendment is attacked each year by some of the same people or groups of people. Dr. Daniel Webster and Vinnie DeMarco from Johns Hopkins every year. Then we have the mayor of Baltimore City, the executive of Baltimore County, along with their respective police chiefs. They bring in a victim of an incident and pass it off as a routine to the legislature. The next ones we see annually could be considered the most incompetent state's attorneys in Maryland. They are elected to their position in Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Prince George's County. Yearly, they ask the legislature for more gun control laws because they have problems getting convictions with the laws we now have on the books. And then they don't get long enough sentences once they do get a conviction. What they don't seem to realize is that there are only 3 jurisdictions out of 24. There are 21 other jurisdictions in Maryland that get convictions and sentences just fine with the laws we already had on the books. If they are not getting the convictions that they think acceptable, maybe their problem is their own inabilities. And hopefully the voters of that city and those counties will see to it that they have a career change next election. If they are not getting acceptable or mandatory sentences, in their opinion, they do not need new laws. They need new judges. But again, we only have to look here to our governor's mansion to see who appoints those liberal judges. I'm now going to remind you of something once said by President Ronald Reagan. What good speech would end without him? He stated, "As for enemies of freedom, they will be reminded that freedom is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender it, now or forever." Lastly, let me remind you of some unforgettable American events. One was spoken of here just by the previous speaker. America will never forget George Washington and the First Revolution. New Orleans will never forget Andrew Jackson and the War of 1812. Texas will never forget Travis, Crockett, Houston, and the Alamo. And finally, Marylanders will never forget Governor Martin O'Malley and Senate Bill 281. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Ray. At this time, I would like to introduce Delegate Cathy Vitale.
Like you've heard before, I'm Delegate Cathy Vitale. Welcome to Anne Arundel County. It's great to see so many people out here. A couple really quick points. How many of you were here last year? How many of you were here for the first time? Every one of you that were here last year, turn around and shake the hand of somebody who was just here this year. You know why? Because that means everything that you've done in the last couple months, everything you did since you were here last year is paying off, because we have more individuals becoming aware. We have more individuals that are participating and more that understand the freedoms and what is at stake if we keep going the direction that Maryland is currently heading. Last year, I want to tell you a really quick story. Most of you that have heard me before know that I like to deal in things that happen to real people. Standing behind me are a lot of legislators who went back to their homes and back to the districts that they represent and were confronted by individuals who said things like, "Don't you care about children? Don't you care about safety? How could you possibly oppose 281? After all, it's all about keeping us safe." How many of you believe that? No. I didn't think so. Well, you know, on the night that we had that vote, I left here and I went back home, for me a little closer than others, and an individual who had been a long-term supporter of mine came up, shook her head at me, and said to me, "I know you have a son, and I hope something horrible happens to him, because you've decided to stand on the wrong side of this issue." Because you see, here's what they're looking to do. They're looking to frame the issue that it's all about children and families, that it's all about protection for the criminals. But that's not really what it's about. It is about families. It is about children. It is about my son. It's about your daughter. It's about your son. It's about your grandchildren. It's about your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters. It's about having the ability to stand up to protect them when somebody threatens you. But here's the difference in that discussion. It's about doing it properly, safely, within the confines of the law. It's about getting the training that I guarantee you, if I asked each and every one of you as responsible owners and supporters, you've gone to the classes, you've gone to the range, you've gone and made sure that those that are involved in the issue are educated. And that's what our job is. Because just like you look around here today and you see people you've never met before, we took some time last year to educate people on that issue, and that's why these numbers are growing. So it's not an easy fight. It's going to be long. But everything that you've known from the minute you were born to the minute you stood here today, if it's worth it, it's worth fighting for. If it's worth it, it's worth fighting for. This is worth it, and thank you for helping us fight for it.
Thank you, Cathy. Our next speaker is the Second Vice President of Legislative Affairs from the Maryland State Rifle and Pistol Association, Mr. Greg Nolte.
Thank you, Dan. So I guess I want to say, why are we here? Well, if we look back to last year, we showed up in record numbers. We made phone calls. We sent emails. We visited our reps. We even came to testify into the wee hours of the morning. But unfortunately, given all those efforts, our legislators failed to hear the message that we were trying to deliver. They passed the Firearms Safety Act of 2013. This was the biggest attack on our fundamental civil rights. So why are we here today? We're here today to let them know we are back. We're here today to let them know we will keep coming back. We will continue to speak out until the bills infringing on our fundamental rights are repealed or overturned. There are those who consider us to be fringe elements. We know better. We will not be marginalized. There are those who are afraid of guns and the people who own them. They demonize what they do not understand. We will not be demonized. There are those who said our opposition to the Firearms Safety Act of 2013 was a flash in the pan, but they were wrong. So to repeat, we're here today to let them know we are back. We're here today to let them know we will keep coming back. We will continue to speak out until the bills infringing on our fundamental rights are repealed or overturned. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. At this time, I'd like to introduce Delegate Kelly Schulz.
Representing Western Maryland, let's hear it for the West. We were so offended last year, all of us standing up here, all of you back there, because they passed Senate Bill 281. It was offensive. It was offensive to us at our very nature, because we were being looked at as untrustworthy, and we're not. We are not untrustworthy, and we should be offended. And the whole reason that we are here is to tell them that we are greater than they think that we are. And congratulations to all of you for that. But amongst all of the really offensive parts of this bill, besides the fact that the entire bill was offensive to us, let's talk about some of the most offensive. I have a son that has been in the United States military for 3 years. Airborne Special Forces. Now, we are telling my son, who has been trained by the best Special Forces operators that this world has ever seen, that he needs to take a little class that bureaucrats have put together for him in order for him to purchase a firearm. That's offensive. Are you offended by that? Because I'm offended by that. I'm offended that in Frederick County we have a youth sports club through FFA that has grown quadrupled over the past 2 years. And we, as a legislative body, are telling them that they are not good enough to handle their weapons. That's offensive. Are you offended? Because I'm offended. And I'm offended that the people that are sitting in the building behind us over there are thinking that it's quite possible that they may carry this message nationally. They may continue what they did here in Maryland, and they may take that on the national circuit. Now that really offends me. And the only thing that we can do as legislators is to stand here and we can support you and we can listen to your voices and we can keep moving forward and we can bring you back time and time and time again, because you know why? You're so offended, I know you're going to show up. Let's keep up the fight.